The Last of Us is an interesting media. Having one game that is loved and praised by almost everyone, but also having another one that just was kind of debated by everyone instead. And then on top of that, having one extremely successful season 1 on HBO and having season 2 just wrapping up, I've decided to have a look at it and platinum it. Before jumping into part 1, let's go back to 2013, where The Last of Us first released. Developed by Naughty Dog and getting huge positive reviews. Jumping to a year later, we get a remaster called Last of Us Remastered. Mainly updated for PS4, but still by Naughty Dog and all that. To the same reviews, because it was the same game, just looking nicer pretty much. Then, another 8 years later, we get The Last of Us Part 1, which is the game I'll be doing for this video. And it was another remaster for the PS5 this time. And the reviews are a bit less because, it's a third remaster and nothing new was really added. The main difference being the story and the DLC get combined into one in a sense, especially for the trophies. But we'll get into that later. And then as a side note, in the year of 2025, there's another one called The Last of Us The Complete Edition, or, completed, which is basically just the first and second game in the same game. But that's 4 remasters in 15-ish years. Let's just focus on The Last of Us Part 1 though. And with 29 trophies, including the Platinum, with the Platinum being relatively simple of complete the story, get some collectibles, and some miscellaneous stuff. Let's get into it. And again, the DLC that was made for the original 2013 version is now in this game and in the main trophy list. So we will also be doing the Left Behind DLC, which will talk about Ellie and her best friend and how Ellie got bit, but I'll talk again more about it later in the video. To start the game, we meet Joel, the main character and who we play as for most of the story, as he tries to escape the outbreak in Texas with his daughter Sarah and his younger brother Tommy. It's not going overly well, I won't lie, and it's sadly not gonna get any better.
We need help.
Stop!
Please. It's my daughter. I think her leg is broken.
Stop right there!
We're not sick.
Got a couple of civilians on the outer perimeter. Please advise.
Daddy, what about Uncle Tommy?
We're gonna get you to safety and go back for him, okay?
Sir, there's a little girl. But... Yes, sir.
Somebody, we've just been through hell. Okay, we just need... Shit. Please don't. Oh, no. Sarah. Move your hands, baby. I know, baby, I know. God. Listen to me. I know this hurts, baby. You're gonna be okay, baby. Stay with me. All right, I'm gonna pick you up. I know, baby. I know it hurts. Come on, baby, please. I know, baby. I know. Sarah. Baby. Don't do this to me, baby. Don't do this to me, baby. Come on. No. No. No, no, no. Please. Oh, God. Please. Please. Please don't. Please.
After wiping away the tears, we wake up with Joel sometime later, where we get introduced to his partner in crime, Tess, during these hard times. Anyway, Tess tells us that someone named Robert has broken a deal, so it's time to go pay him a visit. While sneaking through the grounds, we get introduced to one of the aspects of this game, which are spores, which is basically just a outbreak sort of infection that is airborne, so if you breathe it in, you turn into a clicker/runner? I don't know what they're called in this universe, I can be honest. I'm going to call them zombies going forward. But yeah, also while sneaking through the grounds, I find a Firefly pendant, which is one of the many collectibles of this game. And with finding the first one here, it gives me a trophy. Finally running into Robert, he doesn't enjoy our company, so after chasing him down, we deal with him the only way we know how.
Stupid idea.
And then directly after that, we meet Marlene, who is the leader of the Fireflies, and who has a job for us to deliver a girl named Ellie. So he starts the journey to deliver Ellie. First, though, we gotta escape the city. Of course, it doesn't go well as we get captured by the perimeter squad. The guards go to test us to see if we are infected, and after some improvisation, it turns out Ellie is infected, but more shockingly, she seems to be immune. Back to escaping all the soldiers and even running into some infected. And even some clickers, which are more evolved infected, I think is the best way to describe it. Finally getting to the point of the city where Marlene told us to go to meet our other Fireflies, to just find out they've all been killed and slaughtered. As, you know, their bodies are kind of around the place on the floor dead. To make things worse as well, Tess tells us that she's been bit from the encounters with the clickers before. But it does prove that Ellie is kind of immune. Like, Tess is already turning and Ellie's fine. So Tess decides to stay behind to help us escape. And Joel and Ellie head off to find Bill, one of Tess and Joel's friends. While looking for Bill, we run into some of his traps. And then get swarmed by a bunch of infected because things just can't be easy. Bill does thankfully show up to help though, and takes us to a quiet spot and gives me some new gear. One of the supplies he gives us is a training manual, which is basically a little book that gives us an extra level of upgrades to our gear. And of course, finding the first one gives me a trophy. Bill now has us going to another base, his main one, where he gives us more gear like nail bombs and a shotgun. So, thank you, Bill. Now it's time to get a car battery for a car. Duh. We make it to a school where Bill says the car battery is, and while going through it to the gym area, we come across a bloater, which is a big boy that throws gas bombs and takes a chunky amount of damage. Dealing with him, we sadly find out that there is no battery, at least at the school, because it turns out that Bill's partner's already gotten the battery, but sadly also got bit in the process. He did leave Bill a note though, but Bill didn't really like the note, so he scrunches up and tosses it away. But if we go and grab it after that, we get a trophy. So I of course did. We get the car running, drop Bill off, and head off to Pittsburgh. When getting to Pittsburgh, we get ambushed and have to deal with a bunch of hunters / raiders, depending what you want to call them. After dealing with the hunters and that, we continue through Pittsburgh and on the way find our first comic book, which is another one of the collectibles, and again, the first one gets me a trophy. Quickly dealing with a few hordes now, but during this I get separated from Ellie. Well, Joel does, I should say. And end up in the basement where I craft every item, giving me a trophy. I then have to deal with some stalker infected, which just stalk you and don't just attack you. Bit creepy, not gonna lie. Meet up with Ellie and kill some more hunters. That was a lot, oh my god. While dealing with these hunters, we find out that they got a damn mini tank. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, while escaping, we run into Henry and Sam, two brothers also trying to escape these hunters. We all get through the sewer system and hit a residential area, which had a tool bench, which let me upgrade my revolver to the max level, which gave me a trophy. Shortly after that, I find the last safe and open it, giving me another trophy. Little bit after that, we get ambushed by a hunter with a sniper, and then his other goons, where Joel has to go and sneak around to stop the sniper. As soon as we do that, more hunters attack Ellie and the gang, to which then we have to deal with. As soon as we deal with that, clickers and infected come, and we have to deal with those as well, and it was just so much. We do thankfully get away, but sadly, all isn't okay. In the morning, it truly hits rock bottom.
Sam?
The hell? Shit, he's turning! That's my fucking brother! Screw it!
Shit!
Ellie? Ellie, are you alright?
Oh my god.
Sam?
Oh no.
Sam? Henry? Ellie, stay there. Henry? What have you done? I'm gonna get that gun from you, okay? Oh, okay, easy.
This is your fault.
This is nobody's fault, Henry.
It's all your fault.
Henry! Henry, no!
Oh my god.
Damn, that one hurt to watch. Finally escaping Pittsburgh, we continue on our way to find Tommy, Joel's younger brother. During these travels, we come across a dam, which turns out Tommy was at with his community. While catching up with Tommy and getting a little tall, we come across the bestest boy, Buckley. And he is just seriously such a good boy, yes he is. Game of the year. Turns out, though, Joel wants Tommy to take Ellie the rest of the way to the Fireflies, and just before we get into it more, we get attacked and have to go deal with that. Having dealt with the attack, Ellie gets wind of what's happening with Joel and Tommy, and, of course, being the teenage girl she is, just runs off. Tommy and Joel head off to go find her, and find her at a cabin, and Joel has a heart-to-heart with her, with some killer dialogue.
I'm sorry about your daughter, Joel, but I have lost people too.
You have no idea what loss is.
Everyone I have cared for has either died or left me. Everyone fucking except for you. So don't tell me that I would be safer with someone else, because the truth is I would just be more scared.
We all head back to the community, and Joel decides to stay with Ellie. The mood is just good for everyone.
Later.
Well, shit. We watch Ellie struggle to save Joel, and the game cuts us to wintertime. We catch up with Ellie, who is hunting now, for food obviously, and she runs into someone called David, who is willing to trade some medicine for the deal we just killed, and obviously we want that medicine. Of course, though, he sends his goons after us to kidnap us, and yeah, it's just a bit kind of rude, if anything. Yeah, turns out he's a cannibal, and, well, let me just show you.
And you're special.
Oh.
The next sequence has us jumping from Joel's view and Ellie's view. Of course, Joel just waking up from being healed with the drugs and the stitches, and Ellie, who is currently trying to escape David. Big standout of it being the freaky David sequence where you play as Ellie, and it's basically a big cat and mouse game where you have to try and sneak up and stab the shit out of David, but each time it gets progressively harder with him slowly fighting back and then becoming a stalker in a way. Like, it was really freaky. Ellie does get the upper hand though, and goes apeshit on his face with a machete till Joel finally gets in there. We catch back up with our duo, with Ellie still being extremely shaken up with what happened. So Joel tries to cheer her up. Luckily, nature works in mysterious ways.
Come here. Hey, fella. Hurry up. Come on.
Hey there.
Almost at the Fireflies now, and on the way there, I find the last workbench tool, giving me level 5 upgrades and a trophy. Finally, catching up with Marlene and the Fireflies, and it doesn't start well when she tells us that the surgery will kill Ellie. Let's just say Joel doesn't take it well. And I mean really not well.
I'm after her.
Just like that, we finish the story, getting the trophy. So, as stated in the beginning, the DLC was added into the base game and trophy list. So, now it's time to do the Left Behind story, which is, like I said, how Ellie got bit, starting with meeting Ellie's friend Riley, who wants to take Ellie out on a fun little adventure. Now, throughout, it does cut back to Ellie in the present, who is looking after Joel, and Ellie in the past, who is with Riley, just to make that clear. Back to it though, Riley takes us to an abandoned mall where we do a couple minigames, such as a car window minigame where we have bricks and it's a race to see who can destroy the most car windows, with the winner, aka me, getting a trophy for winning. A bit later on, we find an arcade that works, kinda. It does take a little bit of imagination and a quick time event that, when aced, gives us a trophy. Next activity was a water gun fight, which was genuinely hard. Like, it gave me such issues. I would have rather dealt with a horde of infected, but my god. I do eventually win though, so that was good. But Jesus. Heading back to the present though, just to mention that I get a trophy for luring infected to humans with bricks or bottles to make the infected kill the humans. It's kind of fun, honestly. Okay, back to the past now, and Ellie and Riley are now getting chased by infected. But in the process, they do both get bit. They sit down and discuss what they should do, and both decide just to wait it out and be infected together. Of course, it's not exactly how it goes, and sadly, Ellie loses her friend. And that's just like that. It's the end of the Left Behind. Trophy pop. So, cleanup time, with collectibles being the main aim here to start with, which ironically, the first two are actually miscellaneous trophies. So, one is for breaking all upgraded tools. And the second one is for just leaving Ellie hanging, which is kind of funny. Now to finally get some collectible trophies now, and we get hit with a double whammy. First, I find all the training manuals, giving me a trophy. And secondly, all the workbenches. Okay, we're back to some more miscellaneous stuff again now, because we are back to Henry and Sam portions of the game. And there was a sewer puzzle that got people across a gap. Anyway, I had to just join them. So I had to be quick about it and just go across with them. And when I did that, I got a trophy. Same portion of the game. This time there's a generator surrounded by a bunch of goons. And I just have to be sneaky and turn it off in front of them all. It was harder than I thought it would be, and it took me a couple tries. But when I eventually got it, the trophy popped straight away. Okay, now back to collectibles, and I'm serious. Let's get through these. So let's start with collecting all the comic books. Next was unlocking all locked doors with shivs. Simple enough. Shortly after that, I got all the Firefly pendants too. And now we're back to the Left Behind story to complete all the engage with optional conversations collectible. And then the game makes us sit through all of Ellie's bad jokes, and I'm going to make you sit through them. I'll fast forward it, but just know, I had to sit through these patiently and annoyingly, but here's a trophy after you listen to all of them. But fast forward. Now back in the arcade, I just had to play another imaginary arcade game where Ellie just sits there and talks some talk. You know what it is. Here's a trophy. Then lastly, I just had to collect all notes and artifacts in the game. I did that, the trophy popped, I waited anxiously, and then the platinum, baby. The Last of Us Part 1, it's fantastic. Only thing that would have made it better was if I didn't have any of the spoilers. Like, if I could play this game without knowing anything, I think it probably would have been top game ever played, but definitely top 5 easily, and probably top 3 I've platted. But yeah, until next time, I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, please like the video, comment some games you want to see me in the future. I know there's some ones up there, trust me. But yeah, if you have been enjoying the videos lately, subscribe so you know when new ones are posted, and just because it's free and it helps me out tremendously. But till next time, see ya.